When vision, identity, and daily actions are coherent, momentum and progress naturally follows. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why it is so important to cast an eternal vision rooted in having a positive impact on as many people as possible, and then aligning your eternal vision that is infinite, intangible, and hard to define clearly, all the way down into your day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute, even your second-to-second decisions, so that what you are doing in the present moment aligns directly with where you want to head in the future. Before we start, let me share a quick story about my own experience of my former marketing agency, which resulted in me investing all of the money that we earned as freelancers into the business for it ultimately to become a financial black hole, to take all the money and to have zero progress at all. Other than, of course, all the wisdom and experience that I gained as a direct result of it. So for me, my background was I was working as a copywriter in marketing, helping clients sell their high-priced offers for several years, and I had some success with clients and generated some pretty good results for the people that I work with. However, my only priority that I had was to make money. There was no why beyond the why for doing anything, and essentially because I searched and invested so much time, energy, effort and money into trying to find meaning and purpose in what I did, which was my why beyond the why for making money, and I just couldn't find it. And so what that ultimately led to me, the biggest lesson that I could take away from it is that when you chase money, it's like chasing the horizon. When you achieve your goal, you instantly set the next goal, but there's no inherent meaning to it if you just accumulate it, and then you try to spend it and try and reinvest in your business, but you don't know what to invest on. The point is, my biggest failure in my marketing agency was I did not have a solid foundation and a solid anchor that aligned with who I was as a person and what I was doing on the outside in the business. And essentially I just kept spinning in circles. I found that I tried so many things, but none of them worked, and I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't work. But ultimately, it was using my own opinion, my own perspective, my own thoughts while talking to my small team about what was going wrong and why this, and we just gave our opinions, but there was nothing that we could calibrate it to so we could realign ourselves back. The point being, I lacked a vision that was bigger than myself. I lacked the eternal vision as the North Star, as my anchor, as the point that I wanted to progress towards moment to moment. And that ultimately led me to spinning in circles for 3 years, spending all of the money that I had into the business, having bad situations with clients, having bad situations with freelancers, and in general, everything just made my life worse. The stress that I then inadvertently and subconsciously allowed to spill over into my family life and as a parent to my son at the time, and it was generally just not good. So then I closed the business, took some time off and figured things out, which is where I came out with the Light framework. I'm not claiming that the Light framework is my own. Personally, I believe it was divinely inspired because it's something that I find to be profound. It's transformed my life, and there's no way that someone like me could come up with an idea that I believe to be as compelling as this one, where the essence of it is that we, the essence of the system is we first cast a eternal vision, and the eternal vision is essentially your identity your identity in Christ. That is the person that you are going to become over long periods of time. Your eternal vision is prioritizing kingdom impact and having a positive impact and a positive influence on as many lives as possible. Your eternal vision in many ways flips your business from a vehicle for making money, which was my former marketing agency, into a tool for ministry, where you can use your business and your influence through your business and your marketing to have the biggest positive influence on as many people as you possibly can. You can use your business as a way to plant seeds, and you don't have to align your business 100% with biblical teaching and to go out and evangelize people. And you can if you want to, but personally I don't. I'm not the person to tell you what to do with your business or not. But the point I'm trying to make is that by having an eternal vision, it allows you to focus on what truly matters, on the important things. It allows you to then have a clear idea of the person that you want to become, which is to pursue Christ-likeness in your actions and in your business. It's to serve as many people as you possibly can, and that becomes your North Star. The next thing to do in this process after you've cast this eternal vision, which, to be honest with you, for Christians it's pretty easy to do. It's not a difficult thing for Christians to do, to come up with an eternal vision. It is for non-Christians, but not, and I knew that myself when I was an atheist. But for Christians it's pretty easy, because you can pretty easily define what you want to do, and how you can have kingdom impact and influence people. And so once we've articulated what that is, the next step is to create long-term goals which have a tangible, measurable outcome that you can create, your long-term goals, so you know the direction of where you're heading. And I once read about a concept called big, hairy, audacious goals. I'm not sure who coined it. I read it in a book who was referencing it, but it's a pretty common kind of thing. And the concept is to set the biggest goals that you can possibly conceive of, make them tangible, put some numbers to it, and give them a time frame, and that tells you, that helps you align where you want to go. Now, naturally, your long-term goals are going to evolve over time as you get more experience, and you might, more opportunities arise, and what you're trying to do now what you're doing now may not align with what you're trying to do in a few years. But your big, hairy, audacious goals, or your long-term goals, or your 10-year goals, it's just there as like a compass of the direction, the general direction that you're heading in. And your long-term goals will then become a natural byproduct of what your eternal vision is, where you're focusing on having the biggest positive impact on as many people as possible. And then the next thing to do here is, once you have your goal set, is to bring that down into something that's much more manageable, tangible, something that you can work towards. Because, well, the reality is that anyone can come up with your big long-term goals, but it's the execution that's the difference between whether you actually make incremental progress on a day-to-day basis towards achieving what you set out to do, or whether you just sit there as a dreamer. Personally, I've known people, I'm smiling because this person in hindsight was probably a little bit crazy, where he just went around telling people that he was a business owner. He worked as a teacher at the time, as an English teacher at the time, but he went around telling all his friends to lie for him to other people and say that he's got a business. He tried so hard to start a business and did all these things, and well, ultimately for last I heard, he was a man in his late 40s that was living in student accommodation because he couldn't afford anything else. The point being, he had this big vision and this dream of who he wanted to become, but he never actually took action towards it. Myself, I've been in that situation before, more than once. Not as extreme as the one I just described, but I always had an ability to come up with a vision, with something I wanted to work towards, with big goals to progress towards, but I couldn't translate that vision into day-to-day actions, which is why I never really made too much progress. So my problem with my former agency was, well, I had a big vision of what I wanted to do. It was based on making money for freedom lifestyle, which ultimately was not really much meaning and purpose or motivation towards achieving that, especially when you've already covered your basic expenses and you don't have to worry about money. And then the second issue is that I couldn't translate my long-term goals into tangible short-term goals, and so instead I just kept making them up. I didn't have that solid anchor to root my short-term goals in towards making the progress, and that's what led me to spinning in circles. And so this is why, one of the reasons why I've developed this framework, because it's worked for me personally. It's worked for me, and I'm pretty confident it's going to work for others too. But anyway, I digress. So you have your eternal vision, your long-term goals. The key part here is what a lot of people struggle with, is connecting your long-term goals into something that's more tangible. I mean, how can you translate something like, I want to influence 1 million people internationally in a positive way? How can you translate that into a daily action of what you're going to do today? Because it's difficult. So the key here of what I found is, that's worked for me, is that you want to set yourself then a 3-year goal, a 1-year goal, quarterly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. So those in this, what we'll describe here, are the short-term goals. And then that is how you connect where you're going eternally, but you'll never actually achieve, your long-term goals and your day-to-day actions. So your 3-year goals, what I want to do with clients that I work with is, I want to do an activity that Jordan Peterson coined, which is called future pacing. And the essence of future pacing is that you do free writing, or maybe you can record a video or an audio yourself, where you describe the person that you can become in the next 3 years if you do everything right today. And that will give you a picture of what you can actually achieve in 3 years if you do all the things that you need to do. And then conversely, you do the same activity but assuming that you do nothing. And where will your life be in 3 years if you do nothing? And by doing that, it allows you to create a short-term vision within a 3-year time frame that's tangible to achieve, that aligns with the person that you can become, based on the skills, assets, resources that you have, based on your personality, your age, where you're currently at in life, what you're currently trying to do, all of these different factors, but it's highly personal and individual and unique to each person, which then will directly align with your eternal vision and your long-term goals. The next thing then is to come out with your 3-year short-term vision, which is something that you can focus on towards achieving, and turn that into tangible goals, a yearly goal, quarterly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. And that is essentially what the system is that I'm trying to build. Now, there's nothing really unique or special about this system in terms of goal setting. This is essentially what someone else called Rion Doris, I think his name is that he talks about, and his YouTube channel basically talks about the same goal setting framework that I've just described, without the eternal vision and how to achieve it. So, the point I'm trying to make is that this is not unique to me or special, and it also means that there is a solid evidence. There's a solid body of evidence that suggests that this system that I've just outlined of eternal vision, big long-term goals, bring it down to a 3-year vision on who you can become, bring it down to 1-year goals with tangible, measurable and achievable outcomes, bring it down to quarterly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals and daily goals. That goal setting framework there works. It's something that a lot of people talk about, it's something a lot of people use. What makes it unique to Kingdom Impact Lab and me is it's to align your daily actions with the person that you're going to become by aligning what you do with Christ-like light. And the light framework stands for love, integrity, gratitude and generosity, humble service, and transformative excellence and efficiency. And what this framework is, it's based on how you can become Christ-like in everything you do. And this framework allows you to ask yourself the question of what can I do in this present moment to act out of love, to act out of integrity, to act out of gratitude and generosity, to act out of humble service, to act out of transformative excellence and efficiency. And you use this live framework to guide your moment-to-moment decisions. And what this does is it aligns your daily actions with becoming more Christ-like in your day-to-day. It aligns your daily actions with having a positive influence and being a blessing to all of the people that you interact with. It aligns what you're doing in the present moment with your eternal vision, which is rooted in having the biggest kingdom impact possible. And also it aligns all of your personal business and any other goals that you do in a way that makes you a better Christian and a better person in the process as well. And as a result of applying this framework, not only are you going to achieve your short-term goals, not only are you going to achieve and make progress and momentum, you're going to become a better person in the process, and this then will protect you against all of the other issues that arise when you are prioritizing and focusing on making money above all costs. It prevents you from falling into forms of idolatry. It allows you to know the person that you want to become, which helps you then cast the business model and the vision of your business is what aligns most with you. And in general, by focusing on having a positive impact on others, this is what brings joy, meaning and purpose into your work on a day-to-day basis. So that is the essence of this video and the framework. And just to tie everything together, the title of this video was When Vision, Identity and Daily Actions Are Coherent, Momentum and Progress Naturally Follows. So we cast an eternal vision based on having the biggest positive impact on others as possible. We then bring that down into daily actions of light, where we actively make decisions to act out of love, integrity, generosity and gratitude, humble service and transformative excellence and efficiency, and align those daily actions with Kingdom Impact with progress towards your short-term business goals, and that is how you align everything. That's all. See you in the next video.